The European Union is weighing fresh sanctions on US firms in response to Donald Trump's push to acquire Greenland, exploring economic pressure as a way to signal that any forced annexation of the Arctic territory would carry serious costs in Europe. According to the Sunday Telegraph, EU officials are discussing sanctions that could hit major American tech giants and financial firms, using Europe's regulatory and market power to push back against Washington's Greenland ambitions. Meta, Google, Microsoft and X are among the companies that could face restrictions on their activities in Europe, with measures ranging from tighter operating rules to outright limits on how these platforms and services function inside the bloc. The same report said US banks and other financial institutions might be hit with similar curbs, potentially affecting their licenses, access to EU markets or ability to move capital freely across European borders. As a more extreme option, some in Brussels have even floated the idea of evicting US forces from certain military bases in Europe, a step that would shift the political confrontation from pure economics into the core of transatlantic security. Removing American troops from European bases would strip Washington of key staging posts for operations in the Middle East and other regions, weakening US power projection and forcing the Pentagon to reconfigure its global footprint. A European official told The Telegraph, technology giants such as Meta, Google, Microsoft and X could be restricted from operating on the continent, as could American banks and financial firms. A more extreme option could be to evict the US military from its bases in Europe, denying it a key staging post for operations in the Middle East and elsewhere. Donald Trump has publicly claimed that the United States would move to annex Greenland, even though the island is a self-ruling territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, reviving an idea that cuts against modern norms on territorial sovereignty. He has repeatedly asserted that Greenland should become part of the United States, portraying control of the Arctic island as a strategic necessity rather than merely a bold real estate or geopolitical gamble. Trump also threatened to impose steep trade duties on Denmark if Copenhagen refused to give up Greenland, using the prospect of punitive tariffs as leverage to pressure a fellow NATO ally over its sovereign territory. During his first term, Trump went so far as to formally float an offer to buy Greenland from Denmark, prompting diplomatic shock and a firm rebuff as Danish leaders stressed the island was not for sale in any form. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen flatly rejected these ambitions, insisting that Greenland is part of Denmark's realm and that its future status is for the people of Greenland and Denmark, not Washington, to decide. In 1951, the United States and Denmark signed a Greenland Defense Agreement, alongside their wider NATO commitments, granting Washington basing rights on the island in exchange for security guarantees. Under that agreement, the US is obliged to help defend Greenland against external aggression, meaning America's role there historically has been as a protecting ally, not as a power seeking to redraw borders by force. The growing dispute over Greenland has widened the rift between the EU and the US inside NATO, deepening European fears that Washington's annexation talk undermines alliance unity and the very rules-based order it once championed.